This is a storage device. Today, I'm going to show you how to initialize your disk, how to work with partitions, how to fix unallocated space, and a couple of things more. It is important to understand that you have options. You don't have just a drive. This can act like multiple drives. You can use it externally, and you can do a few more things. So we're going to cover that today. And also, FYI, we're going to be using Hirens as well to do some advanced configuration changes. So if you don't know what Hirens is, go down to my video description and see that video so that you know how to acquire a bunch of free tools in a USB format and you know how to use it. This will help you when you have computer problems. So to not make this any longer, let's go to the computer. Okay, now we are in the computer. So there's a couple ways you can get into disk management. You can do disk mgmt.msc, as you can see it here, and then press OK. It'll open up. The other way is accessing it from here. You can type disk and then it'll appear, or you can do create and it'll appear. So what I'm going to do is, this is my main system, right? And you can see I have an unallocated space here for some example purposes. What I'm going to do is I'm going to attach another drive so that we can play with that drive instead of playing with my main system. I basically have a SATA 2 USB adapter, and it's a 2.5-inch drive. So it only is getting power from the USB-A. Okay, so we have here our main system, disk 0. Disk 1 is the one that we connected. We're going to play with disk 1 because I don't want to mess too much with this one because it has very important files. So basically what you can do with disk management, we're going to cover the basics. Let's say you have your, well, on this one we can play with C. This is not going to hurt anything, shrinking and extending. Basically, if you have here your C drive, you're going to click here and you can shrink it. So if you want to create, let's say, a 2 gigabyte 2048, a 2 gigabyte simple volume, you can do that, and it'll shrink it by 2 gigabytes. And then now what you can do when you have this unallocated space, you can do it here, you can do it here. You can create a new simple volume, right? And you can go here, assign it the 2 gigabytes and give it a, let's say, L. And this new simple volume can be called GH or whatever. You finish, and then when you go to File Explorer, you're going to see this new simple volume, GH, right here, that you created because you shrink C and gave it a new simple volume. Now, let's say you want to recover that space to your C drive. You delete the volume, yes, and then you extend it again. So it's pretty useful for creating multiple volumes, to shrink it, to make it larger, then depending on your needs, right? So let's see, now let's use this one. So you can see here, I have let's say you have a drive and it had a system image before and you tried to erase it so you could use it, but you can't. You try to go here, there's no delete. There's no delete. On this one there is, let's see. And okay, so we could erase it because it was not labeled as healthy partition. And this one is like essential for like this one, for our system to be able to work properly. So when you have a situation like this, you can do a couple things. You can go to CMD, run as administrator. You can do delete partition override, but I like to do something else. So let's go here, disk part. You can use this partition in CMD, which is the command prompt, and you can do list disk. This is a few commands so you can see everything, all the information. You can select disk 0, for example, our main system, and then list part, which is list partitions, and you'll be able to see all the partitions here, recovery, system, primary. And then what we want to do is we want to let's say erase that so we're going to go back into select disk, and we're going to select disk 1, which is the additional drive that I have. Disk 1 is now selected. Now let's do list volume, and we're gonna see there games here. And this one, I don't know why it's there, but we know it's disk 1. List volume, because we can see games. And if you see here, games is not on disk 0, only on disk 1. So something I like to do if I want to completely wipe the drive, I do, we're on disk 1 and we can do clean and it'll erase everything. Deleted, successful. And it'll bypass whatever thing, whatever partition there, because you want to start from scratch, right? So you can see now it's completely wiped. Another one is if you just want to delete that partition and nothing else, and it doesn't let you, you can do delete, override, partition. I think that's the one, but you would have to select that partition, go in and erase it. In our case, we succeeded, but sometimes you will see this, or you will attach a drive to your system and it won't show up, and you're like, what is going on? It's not showing there. So something you can do is, I mean, this is a problem with the drive not showing, so most likely it's going to be it's not initialized, right? And you can see initialize, and you'll see disk 1 and GPT, which is the more modern file system that we want to use. We do OK, and now you can see how it initialized. Now, if you go to File Explorer, you won't be able to see it. We'll do refresh. You won't be able to see it because you need to create that simple volume. We go here, go next, we choose the entire volume. We can let's do K, and then we'll leave a new volume name. And now it's formatting, and now if you go here, you'll see your new drive. And it has to be initialized and then the simple volume created. That way it shows on your File Explorer. Otherwise, it's not going to be visible there. So that's the basics of disk management. Okay, and we did shrinking, extending. So you have a couple other options here. As you can see the properties of the volume. In this scenario, let's see, we have the C volume and we want to extend it. We can't because it's all the way over here. It would have to be right next to it and we would be able to extend it. As I'm going to show you, let's see, we'll shrink it 1 gigabyte and you'll see how it has to be right next to it. 1024 or contiguous, however they say that. And you'll see, you see how it popped up, it's right next to it. So we can now re-extend our C volume. Now, how do we fix this? How do we fix this unallocated volume all the way over here and make it go over here? There's a way to do it in which we can erase the recovery partition and move it next to it and then recreate it over here. But I have 2 different partitions, EFI and then recovery. I don't want to do 2. Erase 2 and then recover 2. So I'm going to go with the easy route, and I'm going to show you with our Hirens bootable recovery drive. I showed you on the video that I did previously. If you don't know about that video, check down the description. You'll find the link to my Hirens recovery drive, how to make it and how to use it. So let's go into Hirens so we can see how to re-extend this without having to go on any complex command line commands and stuff and maybe messing up your system even more. So let's do it the easy way. We're gonna turn off our computer. Okay, now the next instructions is I'm gonna show you a video. We're gonna be attaching our Hirens. I would recommend removing that external drive that we attached before. That way you just have Hirens and you prevent any compatibility or any issues with the when you boot up and you have to boot to the USB. So attach your USB, turn on your computer. You have a couple way of doing this. One way is going into F1 or F2, delete whatever your system goes into BIOS. you would go into BIOS and you would make sure that your boot drive startup primary boot sequence, you got to make sure your USB is on top. Mine is on top. Mine is this one. So on mine, it already identified it and it put it on top by itself. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to exit out of here and save those settings. And there's also another way of getting to the USB. Some systems allow you to do F11, F12 to be able to see all the booting devices on the system. It'll identify them and it'll ask you, do you want to boot to any of these devices? And on mine is F12. I go to UEFI, I select it, and it'll go into the Hirens bootable media. Okay, and we are inside our Hirens pre-installation environment. You saw that I attached the drive, booted to the USB drive. And what we're going to do here, because we were talking about partitions, we want to go to partitioning tools, East EOS partition master. We click on it and this will make it a lot easier. I love Hirens because it's free. All the applications here are free. If you want to go and pay subscriptions or install programs to your computer, go ahead. But Hirens doesn't change much. So the nice thing is you can go here, you can detect your drive, and you can get the unallocated space on your C drive. So what you would do in here, you click on your C drive, you click on resize, and you see here, it tells you how much unallocated space you see here. You see how it matches this one. You said, I want it all. You go, okay. And that function is going to be sent up here for executing the operation. Once it goes up there, you go and click on execute operation. You apply, and it'll do everything with the program. You don't have to do nothing but sit and wait. Finish. And now we can see here our C drive. We can, well, East US partition, as you can see, you can do a couple things. Click here, allocate space, clone. You can do a multitude of different things, format. It just makes some things a lot easier. And like I said, if you don't have a Hirens bootable drive, get one if you have a computer, because you will need it at some point. And if you can't achieve something, you will be able to achieve it much easier with most of the tools that you have here. And you can see here, look at all these tools. Look at all these wonderful tools. So now we just have to shut down our computer. Make sure you, once the computer turns off, remove that USB drive so it doesn't boot back into Hirens. Turn your computer on, and we'll go to, let's go to disk partition. Disk management. And voila, you don't have an allocated space anymore, and you have 118 gigabytes of space on your C drive. This is how and why you need Hirens, or this is why you need to know how to do certain things. This makes it a lot easier. You are not afraid of breaking your system. You just go and click a button and it'll do it for yourself. I hope you liked the video. And if you have any problems with your partitioning system, send me a message and I will be happy to help you out. I will see you all later. Bye-bye.